Today's episode is in the arts category. I am following up on an episode that I announced back in episode 128 when I was talking about my vision for 2026 for this podcast and my episode to do list. So, this episode is highlighting a student led nonprofit organization called Musicians for Causes. These high school aged musicians perform in the community and at local businesses. They are a great example of how young people in our community are stepping up, not just to showcase their talent and be in the limelight, but to make a positive impact locally. Welcome to the Perrysburg Podcast, episode 140. I'm your host, Perrysburg resident Kim Newlove. The Perrysburg Podcast is a resource for Perrysburg residents. We talk about what's in Perrysburg and why people like to live here. Our website is perrysburgpodcast.com. As we get started, I would like to give 5 recent examples of performances that Musicians for Causes have given. If you visit their Instagram page, you can actually hear music from each performance. I'm going to list them real quick from 1 to 5. Number 1 is Courageous in Choral. That was a fundraiser at the Hilton Garden Inn in Perrysburg for the Victory Center, which, if you don't know the Victory Center, that's a group that empowers and supports cancer patients. Number 2, Majestic Care Commons. That's an assisted living community here in Perrysburg. Number 3 was Hospice of Northwest Ohio, also in Perrysburg. Number 4, the Toledo Zoo. And number 5, Woodhaven Skilled Nursing Facility in Bowling Green. If you look at the Instagram page for Musicians for Causes, there are many more performances spanning several years listed. You can take a look at them, see the types of places that they have visited and volunteered at, and you can hear them too, which is really cool. And if you take a look at the current volunteers for Musicians for Causes, they are entirely string musicians. So this isn't a rock band that got together, kind of like back when I was a student in high school back in the 90s. People tended to get a drummer, couple guitarists, and a vocalist. These are string musicians, and they sound amazing. I just told you that these are string musicians, but who are these people? Well, they have an executive board, but they also have volunteers. Any number of volunteers may perform, but there are 3 student leaders at this time as of spring 2026. They are all Perrysburg High School students, too. There's Robbie, Iris, and Elizabeth. Robbie Zhang, he's the president. He's a Perrysburg High School student and cello player. There's Iris Weistein. She's the vice president, also a Perrysburg High School student, like I mentioned, and she plays cello and piano. And Elizabeth Crawford is the lead event coordinator, according to their website. She's also a Perrysburg High School student, like I mentioned, and she plays the cello. I think it's a coincidence that the leaders of this organization right now are all cello players, but apparently it's a popular instrument among them. To learn more about Robbie, Iris, and Elizabeth, visit Musicians for Causes website, which is in the show notes for today's episode. Go to perrysburgpodcast.com, click on episode 140. I was unable to connect with one of the Musicians for Causes leaders for an interview, but I wanted to get the word out about them for a few reasons. Number 1, can we just celebrate the fact that young people in Perrysburg are volunteering and they're doing good things out there? Number 2, if you know of an organization or business who would like Musicians for Causes to perform, you can reach out via their social media or email. I've got those in the show notes. Already talked about that. And 3, if you're a high school student who is a musician or you know somebody, maybe your kid or grandkid, would like to volunteer with Musicians for Causes, you can share this episode with them. In the show notes, I have already mentioned that their contact information is in there. We've got website, email, phone number, and social media links. But if you go to that website, they are accepting applications from students grades 9 through 12 continuously. So if you or someone you know is interested in volunteering with Musicians for Causes, apply today. Now that you know who Musicians for Causes is and what they do, I'd like to share a few interesting things that I learned about Musicians for Causes. This group formed in the year 2020 during the pandemic, when most of us were trying to practice social distancing and kind of hiding at home. This group was just forming, and they were getting out into the community and doing something positive. If you look on their Instagram page, you can actually see old pictures of them performing with masks on. Almost 6 years after launching, Musicians for Causes is still making music and engaging the community. Musicians have aged out of the group. Obviously, you can only be in it from grades 9 through 12, but new leaders have stepped up, including Robbie Zhang, and more musicians have joined the group as well. The last comment that I made there about new leaders and volunteers stepping up, it kind of needs some more reflection. What I want to say is something straight out of Good to Great. It's a famous book by Jim Collins. I love this book. One of my favorite things is that when I read it, I was working for Walgreens, and Walgreens is featured very heavily in that book. Anyways, the author, Jim Collins, shares that a founder's ultimate legacy and highest achievement is building an organization that thrives after they step away, ensuring that it lasts rather than just succeeding while they are present. That's the end of the message from Good to Great. But I just want to say that it appears that Musicians for Causes founder prepared the organization for their eventual absence. It has continued for almost 6 full years, and there's no end in sight. I wish them all the best as they continue playing and serving the community. If you would like to join Musicians for Causes as a student volunteer or schedule a performance, please reach out to Musicians for Causes here in 2026 or whenever you find this podcast episode. Their contact information again is in the show notes on perrysburgpodcast.com. I would like to personally thank Musicians for Causes current president, Robbie, for reaching out to me and letting me know about Musicians for Causes. I had no idea that they were out there, and I really think they deserve a spotlight. And Robbie kind of inspired the arts category for the podcast for this year. So thank you, Robbie. You are an inspiration, and y'all are doing a great job. You sound great. Before I wrap this episode up, I would like to recommend a movie for you to watch. It is the 1995 film titled Mr. Holland's Opus. I rewatched it just this winter and it really gave me the feels. I laughed, I cried, and I cheered. It hit all the right buttons. Here's the thing, I graduated from high school in 1996. This movie came out in 1995, which would have been the beginning of my senior year, right after I had had all these band experiences for the last 6 years, and I loved it. To this day, I love music. I no longer perform music. I play a little piano privately, but I love music. And I had wonderful music teachers and band teachers over the years. And this movie reminded me of that. When I watched Mr. Holland's Opus this winter, I remembered the band teachers. I remember playing the music. I remember how playing the music made me feel. And it was great. And speaking of feelings, there's that great quote by Maya Angelou. People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. I felt supported during my music education. My music teachers made me feel talented, accomplished, and confident. My family made me feel proud to be a musician. My friends made me feel like I belonged. And I personally loved the feeling of being part of so many moments of other people's lives. I played Pomp and Circumstance, the graduation theme, at graduation ceremonies, including my then boyfriend, now husband's graduation ceremony. Not many people can say that. I played in the pit band for musicals, and I got to see my friends perform up on the stage while I was playing. It was so cool. I even got to play in the pit band for a musical that my sister was part of. I got to play in the marching band. So at one point, my sister was in the band. Once she graduated, my little brother was in the band with me too, and that was fun. I got to go to Disney World in Florida with the band, along with my sister Kelly, who played the flute. We had a lot of fun. And I got to play in pep band at basketball games. I got to play in piano recitals at Mrs. Williamson's house. That was my piano teacher. I enjoyed music so much as a young person, And I still do now, but it's just kind of from a different angle. So, watching Mr. Holland's opus for a lot of reasons gave me the feels. I can only imagine how musicians for causes are just having a blast, sharing their time and talents with others and each other. They're making memories. Keep up the good work, guys. And to the Perrysburg community, please continue to support our schools and our music programs. Young people need our help and support. Thank you very much for listening to episode 140 of the Perrysburg Podcast. The show notes are on perrysburgpodcast.com. In the show notes, you will find the website, social media links, and contact information for Musicians for Causes. If you know someone who loves music and would like today's episode, please share it with them. And if you like this podcast, come on back. We've got a lot more coming up here in 2026. Subscribe to or follow the Perrysburg Podcast on your favorite podcast player and YouTube so you never miss an episode. Thank you very much for listening today, and I'll talk to you next week.